What do you do?
I do a lot of things.
I know. Okay. What's your background? Like, where did you grow up?
Okay, I grew up in Arkansas. I lived there the majority of my life. I only moved off about basically one time whenever I was married. I lived in Jacksonville, Arkansas, because my ex-husband.
That's our backyard. Okay.
My ex-husband was in the military, so he was stationed there, and I lived there for like 3 or 4 years. So, and then when he got out, we moved back to Wynne, my hometown. So I'm from Wynne, Arkansas.
Where do you work?
And I work at Heartland CDJR there. I started off doing kind of like their BDC, titled as BDC. And then it just snowballed into many other jobs and duties. And it's just
What's your favorite thing?
Probably my favorite thing is getting to do more with my graphic design and social media, because that's what I've always liked to do, been interested in, to be creative. I've always loved to be creative. So,
and you're really good at it, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Very
Thank
good
you.
at
Well, you are my inspiration.
Oh, no. What's your favorite part about the car business? Like something fun.
My favorite part, I think, is just because every day is a new day. It's constantly, it's something different. And I don't know if it's like my little ADHD brain. It just keeps, you just never know what the day's going to bring. I mean, like, sometimes it's not always good, but, hey, surprises.
Could you imagine, like, selling insurance?
Yeah, I would be bored. Because it's unpredictable. And you meet so many different people. The majority of customers I've met they're awesome. Like, they're amazing. I mean, a very small percentage that you're like, God, I hope I don't see them again. So,
I think that's with any retail.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and a lot of times it's not even because of you couldn't get the deal done. It's just a personality issue. It's just that they're not either having a great day, great life, but you have to tell yourself that's not my problem. I tried. But I mean, I think that's my favorite thing about the car business is just meeting new people. It's constantly changing. It can be very stressful, no matter which job you're doing within a dealership. It can be very, very stressful, but it is constantly changing.
I feel like the culture in a car dealership is so pivotal or important. I have to use the pivotal thing, but I mean, so important, because if you have the right culture, everything else, like the hard times, like the difficult customers. I worked for a GM that was amazing at handling fire cases. He loved it. And then there's some people that don't deal with that well. And I feel like every dealership has people, which is really cool, that have really great skills in surprising areas that you would never think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love the car business because, like you, it's like it's always changing, always evolving. But I'd be so bored if we did something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in my little low town, we have a little low dealership. So, I mean, everybody, we're just all so close together every day. Because it's just, And I say that, how you're like, oh, come work here. We're like a family. I'm always like, red flag, because of course, when you're a family, you're gonna fight. Like, so I'm like, I tell people, it's like a family, because we're gonna fight like family. But I mean, you do have each other's backs too. So
it's how you resolve those conflicts. I mean, they always say that marriages, that's the great part about success in marriages, is how you handle conflict. It really is. But,
So I mean, like I said, our little dealership, I've been there over a year now, getting close to a year and a half. And it's grown so much from the time that I started there, because there's still a very new dealership, within
what was
itself.
It like when you first got there? Like, how many people were there?
There's 3 salespeople, and we still have 3. We are looking for one more, but to kind of help balance everything out, because it gets tough on them with it just being 3. Somebody's sick, and then the way they have to rotate days off and stuff. But
what would your piece of advice be for someone who's applying for a sales job there?
To be open-minded and be competitive, because everybody that's been in the sales or because it's commission based. You got to have that competitive drive. You got to wake up and be ready to hit the floor. Go at it. And good social skills. It doesn't even have to be. When I say social skills, I don't mean you have to be a social butterfly. But you have to be able to talk to people, because you have to talk on the phone and in person, because people think that, like myself, between social media and I talk, I'm an introvert. I like being at home. I don't really like big, social gatherings, but people see me from social media or even at our dealership, and they have this different vision of me, that I'm like an extrovert, and I'm not at all.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
That's a good thing too.
But I think most introverts are like that way. People think that, like, oh, well, they're doing. I was like, well, no. And then I go back to my whole.
It's like when you're a salesperson, you may not have ever thought that you could be a salesperson, because I definitely didn't. But it's an opportunity to be someone else. I know it sounds weird, but like, I'm an introvert too. Like, sales is one of those opportunities where you get to help people, and you get to be a totally different version of yourself. Because there's people that are like Jason. He's just an automatic salesperson. He can sell anything to anybody. I'm not one of those. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really cool. Thanks for that advice.
Yeah, and I mean, in the salesperson, great. If you have, I've said this definitely the whole time that I've been there. When it comes to sales, if you have good customer service, you can sell anything. Like, you can teach anybody. You can teach anybody to sell a car, but if they don't have good customer service, they're not going to make it far. Because that is my biggest thing anywhere that I'm working, especially if you're dealing with the public, is treat them right. That's people, anything in general throughout life. Like, I cannot, if you want to get on my bad side, let me see you treat somebody poorly, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that person. And so that's always been my biggest stressor to people. Well, maybe they're having a bad day. Like, they're your customer. Let's don't add to their attitude. Like, don't give them a reason to have worse attitude.
Think, a lot of those times that when they're really upset, it's more out of fear. It's a fear-based anger or reflex. They're so afraid of buying a car.
Yeah, seriously. It's a huge purchase.
Yeah, so I feel like if you treat them with kindness, and it's those horrible situations that at the moment feel horrible because they're just got a horrible attitude, that if you will turn that around, they will be your most loyal customer forever. Literally.
Yes.
Okay. So, you can talk about anything that you want. What do you think your future? What do you see in your future? What do you want to do in your future?
Oh, I have really been trying to spend more time working again on my social media. So it's really hard to find the time, like between life, kids, and everything else, work. But I mean, with the way that everything is these days in the world, I mean, and I do enjoy creating stuff for social media. I love creating my videos. It's always been, of course, we know, like, TikTok is my favorite. Like, that's like really my tribe, Yes. And sometimes I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, I need to post on Facebook and Instagram too. but it's just, TikTok's just a completely different social platform, feels like, anyway. So I'm just trying to work on building an organic platform of, and then hopefully spin off to where I can start getting like brands, and somehow, make a living out of that, because I mean, I know it's possible. And if not just so much for that, then, just grow it within either a company or something, like, because it's constantly getting to be creative, and that's just my favorite part of it, and also I like designing, like with the graphic designs and doing all that and stuff, but it's fun. I know there's sometimes that, and like I said, this stuff, like, it can be tedious, like when you're trying to really build like the perfect ad, and you're trying to move that line. Sometimes I think sometimes that makes me more tense building those ads than, of course, working on a video or taking pictures. Because I mean, I've always loved, like, I took pictures, of course, more than videos. I got more into that as these years have went on. But I've been taking pictures ever since I was a kid.
Got a new gimbal?
Yeah, I got that for Valentine's Day. So, but yeah, I still fight with it. The gimbal is, I try to, instead of letting it do the movement, I still try to do it. And so I don't know about my patience with it.
Well, what's some advice that you would give someone who works at a dealership and doesn't do any social media? What's some advice you give them?
Try, like, it's like, I don't sell, which, I say I don't sell, and then, and then everybody's like, oh, everybody in the dealership sells, you've heard them say everybody sells.
I'm like, really, I don't.
It's like, well, I have to say a lot of time, because people will reach out to me, and I'm like, well, I don't sell, but let me set you up. I know I should. Everybody, I know I should. Everybody tells me.
You be good at anything.
But if you're not using social media and probably any kind of sales, but just coming back on car sales, you're missing out. Like, if you're not trying to build a platform of any kind, you're missing out. Because
would you say, like, do a bunch? I always say just do one first. Find them, find the one, like, you like TikTok, so focus on that one.
Yeah, first. And I mean, TikTok has just been taken. Like, you get in. I wish I would have got in on it when I first got in.
But you're in
like,
it now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know how easy it kind of was in the beginning. Like, everybody just click, But something talking about TikTok. Do you notice, though, that the people with all those hundreds of thousands of followers, their videos don't seem to be doing as well with all this updating?
I honestly think that,
like, they're not getting pushed like they.
If you look at
we went through that rough spot here a few weeks ago. Like, me and you both was like, what is going on?
So if you think about it, right now is pivotal. I try to tell anybody and everybody, just start. Just make one video. If you don't do anything today, make one video, 7 seconds. It doesn't have to be longer than that. It can be a short on YouTube. It can be any
You never
platform.
know. And it's rolling dice. Yes. You never know which one's going to hit, because
just do it.
You can post one. I mean, and I'll try to leave. I leave the majority of them up. Every once in a while, I might take one down. I'll think, well, you know what? I might try it later, like with a different, like I'll take, if it's, say, got 15 views. And sometimes I'll leave those up. But, I might have one that only gets 15, 20 views, and then turn around, and then there's another one that's 100,000, or 200, So you just if you don't post it, you're not going to know. Like, that's always been my biggest thing. There's even the times, like we talk about certain times.
Post, like, for the first month, post every single day as much as you possibly can. Then you can use the next month to look at the analytics, because that's the beautiful part about social media, is that you have analytics.
And if you're trying to build that platform, and it takes and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, is how much time it takes, and creativity. There's nowhere to whisper. But it does. I can vouch for the class. It takes, and that's just one platform.
Yes.
When you're managing other platforms, those are also time consuming of the posting. And then, and then you have your posts, you have your stories, you have your reels, you have it, it's nobody, like, in the feedback that I get from people that don't do this as a job, it's just fun. Like, you get to have fun. And I'm like, well, number one, a lot of times I do, because why would you not? Like, why would you not? But it's not just fun. Like, it's a job, and it is stressful. Like, especially because, like, if it's doing well, everybody's like, it's doing well, and then it's like, well, why is it not doing this? Why, it's just, it's up and down, you never know how the old analytic robot is going to want to throw you out in the loop. And people that aren't in that business, I think they're of course the quickest to, well, it's not working. Well, it's just not working today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's like playing the lottery. I mean, it really is, especially with your videos. Yeah. And I just think the biggest thing is just try to make a lot of stuff your own, and just have fun with it. Because I know that the more fun I have with it, if I told this to somebody, I think not long ago, like I normally already know when a video is probably not going to do good, because I was just having to do something quick and get it out there, and I wasn't feeling good, but I had to still make things, and I'm like, I know that's not going to, and it doesn't. The ones that I'm happy with, because even whenever I post, and I know you gotta be the same way, because I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation. We critique ourselves the hardest. Yeah. So even after I put something out, I will still be like, I could have done that a little different, But if I'm not happy with it at all, like I will not post it. Like if it's but then I do will, if I'm posting it, I'm like, I've looked at it, edited, like make sure I didn't miss anything. When you're posting on Facebook or something, you're doing, like you're having to type. I proofread that stuff probably about 50 times, and I'm like, does that sound right? And grammarly.
You're going to still make mistakes. I mean, the beautiful thing about now is that if you just get in, you can learn the next time. Like it's like golf. There's guys that are going to get upset about that one hole, and they're going to let it ruin their whole game. Or you can look at it. It's my one hole. I have the next.
When it does slip through the cracks, I hit the old edit. But
and you can learn from it though. But you have to do it more. Just like this. I've never done a podcast.
You want to know what I think the biggest thing? I guess whenever you sit there and you proof yourself, it's because you're trying to beat the grammar Nazis. I feel like, because it's like they're going to slide.
Can't believe you didn't spell that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you, dear. And
like where those people, they, I don't know, like it's like, did you really have like
they have a lot of time.
I know. It's like I wish I had that much time.
You're gonna always have like I don't believe in negativity as far as like I don't want to expand on that a lot, but if you start in social media, you're going to always have those group of haters. And I feel like that means you're doing your job. You're doing good. You're at least putting yourself out there, right?
Haters make you famous.
Yes. And you need to be doing that, because at least it's feedback. And sometimes you need to listen to it, and sometimes you just need to block it. But you're going to have that. And I think you have to prepare it. And I show everybody in mine, I save some of mine just to remind me. Because when you get those vanity likes and it builds up your head, then I need to go look back and go, hey, let's bring it around. Yeah, so don't worry about that, because you're always going to have
first, I guess it was our first one, like on my one that I did for work, like the TikTok. The one about the I and the TRX and all that. Oh. It has so many comments of people, I guess, that live up north. And how hard, especially because it was at work when I was like, I'm not gonna, you can't not say anything smart.
Yeah. Don't play with pigs.
And they, there's not even any ice on the road. It's not even. And I'm like, which on one comment I did say, it's a rural area, because it was, like our main road was cleared. Our parking lot was it was a sheet of ice. But everything was covered in ice around there. But I cannot tell you how many comments, like hundreds on there of the, well, there's nothing on there. I could do this in my Corolla. And I'm thinking, well, come on down here to Wynn, Arkansas and drive on up in the lot.
We'd love to see you.
You come show me how you drive in your Karla in North Dakota, where you drive on it all the time.
Yes, we get.
But you know, like those. But you know what? As like my boss is like, you know what? Haters make you famous.
Yeah,
it's like what I said. I was like, all they're doing is driving at traffic, driving traffic. Yeah. I said, so let them get on. They're going to get on there and they're going to bigger. And you know, I said no. I have to tell them less all the time, because you know, everybody, when you work with people like that, they want to stick up for, you know, and you got your little trolls, or when you share something, I'm like, do not comment back to anybody. Like, if you comment back to them, you are doing what they're trying to get you to do. It's like they're trying to get a reaction. It's like if they're coming at me or anything else, you know, because I'll share things, you know, on my personal, And you sometimes have your trolls on there that want to talk about, the cars, the prices, or something. And, and I tag all my little work people on it. There's been a couple times they don't do it anymore because I'm like, just don't say anything, and they'll go back. I know, I was like, it's like, that's what he's trying to do. He's just a troll. It's just a troll.
I'm not sorry about that. I think a lot of that is like, I always try to respond, thank you, because I do want the feedback, and even if it's bad, I mean, that's just on them. I feel like, so the thank you, thank you. You don't, I mean, or that's the beautiful thing about it, you can delete them. But anyways, so to end this, I don't know how long we have, but what would be one piece of advice that you'd give everybody from Karla?
Just be a little kinder. I think people are so just terrible, and I know it's like our world is just over these past few years, but show a little grace to people, because you really don't know what people around you are going through. I mean, that has been said through the ages, but it rings true. Like, I tell myself that when grouchy people are around me or approach me, I'm saying like, well, they just probably had a bad day. And my kids do the same thing now because they hear me say, my youngest, he's 6. He came home from school one day and had a sub, and he's like, she was pretty grouchy. He's like, she might not have slept good last night. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So was you good? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
That is awesome.
But yeah, be a little kinder. Like, everybody needs some kindness.
Well, definitely could use a lot, of kindness on all levels. But I feel like, okay, so we'll end this, and thank you so much for doing this for me, and thank you so much for visiting me. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. Kindness definitely doesn't cost anything. It rocks, and it just has such great potential for changing things. Like you said, you have no idea how it impacts other people, because everybody has stuff that's going on, and the people that hide it probably, and they're the nicest, are probably going to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
I love that. And also, especially to younger girls, don't let people tell you what you can and cannot do, because I feel like that. Like, here I am, 33, after being divorced and having to start over in a career because stay-at-home mom. Like, I gave up all of that for so long. But even before then, I allowed so many people in my life to tell me what I was capable of. So that's like my biggest advice for young girls, is to put your little earmuffs on and you do what you can do, and then go even farther than that.
Definitely, thank you for that. I definitely feel like that. Nowadays, you can be anything, anywhere, which is like the fact that we can network on social media right now. I think it's just freaking amazing. Like, you could literally meet an owner of a Fortune 500 company on LinkedIn, which I could never do that before. Anyways, I'll stop chatting. But thank you so much. I'm gonna stop this, and you're gonna give me. Oops. Wait, not yet. Tell them where they can find you. What's your tag on TikTok? What's your tag on Instagram? All that stuff. So sorry.
On TikTok, you can find me. On my personal is halfway there. Like, that goes back to
half underscore there.
Underscore. Or half whatever. Underscore way underscore there.
Okay.
And then on my work one, it's Heartland CDJR. And then on my Facebook and Instagram, my Facebook is under Karla Elizabeth Davis. And then Instagram is Karla Davis 2021. Or did I update it?
We're gonna tag it in the notes on YouTube. Okay. So that way, that's why when you write that up, and I'll put that in there. So that's how they get a hold of you. Okay. Thank you.
Good. Thanks.
Let's hit end. And then go in. And so here